Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Cleveland Browns postgame show with the final score. The Cleveland Browns 49 and the Dallas Cowboys 38. Look, this is not the way you want to win. I'm sorry. I'm not happy. You know, when you're up by, what was it? 27 points? Does that sound right? 41-14 with really 12 minutes left to go in the football game? No, it's not acceptable. And people are going to say, oh, you got to win. Fuck you. You close out games. You don't stop playing. Joe Woods either gets this group's act in gear or else get out of here. If you don't want these guys to play any harder than that, people have got to be called out. No reason. San Juan Creole, no, it's the... No. No, you can't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And it was really close to happening in a series of plays by the defense that they literally stopped trying. They were exhausted. I know all the excuses I'll hear, but it takes one person to make one play, and Denzel Ward made the play at the end of the game. Sendejo sure as fuck will never make a play for as long as he's alive. And look, I'm thrilled. We're 3-1 for the first time since 2001, and that's good stuff. I was talking back and forth in comments to a viewer. Hi, Brian. How you doing?
Good. We knew it was going to, I told you it was going to be like a 3-point game, though.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I've been going back and forth saying, you're a member of the press. And I was like, no, I'm not a member of the press. I'm a fan. And it's like, but you got to be more positive about this. And it's like, you couldn't have been more positive than I was at halftime. But you can't.
I was pretty damn positive.
Yeah, the
31 points and a half.
First half was brilliant. And I've stated that's the best football I've seen a Browns team play in a half of football in a long time. And then they came out and they took care of business and put 7 more on the board. And then they seemed to play sensibly. But then the defense just literally stopped trying. And once that happened,
they were run off the goddamn field by the no huddle again.
Well,
same shit that happened in the Washington game.
Yeah, but the bottom line is this: you got substitutions to put in. Somebody's got to be able to make a play. The
rule is you can only substitute if the offense is substituting. If they don't, you're fucked.
Yeah, then you use a timeout and you substitute. This isn't fucking rocket science. If you see your guys are exhausted, Yeah. Hi, Sean, how you doing? And this is the gentleman I've been conversing with, and I'm glad you tuned in, Sean. I'm not trying to be negative, but my God, this is not a way to win a football game. It's as simple as this. You win with energy, you lose with energy, but you can't just stand around and put on token pass rushes and allow Andrew Sendejo. And I don't really believe that Sendejo should even be on the football team. He's too short. He's too slow. I don't care how hard he hits. When you're in a crunch situation and the guy's 4 yards behind you for a touchdown pass, what the hell is that? Can't we find somebody better than that? Hi, Bronk. How you doing?
Hello. Hanging in there.
And, it's funny, Jose, that you bring up, when you got Marty Ball, you got Marty Ball. You want conservative, you got conservative. And it's really hard to pick team energy up when the winds change direction. And you had a feeling that anything Dak Prescott threw up in the air, his receivers were going to go up and get, and that the Browns were playing from back on their heel.
And his guys were going to be wide the fuck open by 3 yards all the way around them.
Well, yeah. No linebackers that can cover anybody. They can't cover tight ends. They can't cover running backs. They can't cover wide receivers.
It's a problem. And I'm watching. watching individual plays out of these drives that the Cowboys had. And I wouldn't even call them drives, because a drive implies that there's somebody trying to stop you. I mean, it was pitch and catch, literally pitch and catch. And I mean, let's go back and do the old high school quarterback keeper draw play, and nobody even hardly puts a hand on Prescott, and they allow him to push the ball, and carry him for 2 or 3 yards. Overall, a great first half of football, marred, in my opinion. Hi, Hammer Time. How you doing?
It's taking a little beating there.
Easy win.
Yeah, but it really, what we should have been talking about right now is this magnificent game that the Browns played to defeat a Cowboys team that nobody really thought they were going to win this game. Instead, what we're left up, we're getting feedback on Hammer Time, I believe. And I'm just got to shut you down here.
I'll go out. I'll redo it.
No, I mean, do you have background noise there?
I think you might have YouTube on or something.
Yeah, just shut that down and you'll be absolutely fine. But instead, what we're talking about is a near collapse. And, we've seen so many of these. I mean, why do you think...
It reminded me of that horrible Patriots game when we were kicking their ass and they got like 3 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes or something, about 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, that's what it looked like.
Had to perform breathing goalie techniques.
What is D-Bag saying here? I don't understand.
Lamar is COVID?
I think he's trying to spell feedback, I think. Fredback.
I don't know what that means.
Lamar has COVID. I know that QB1 for the Patriots has COVID. Or tested positive.
Yeah, Cam Newton. Cam Newton's caught COVID, not Lamar Jackson. I mean, I don't understand what and he's a Ravens fan. I don't understand what the reference is. But again, we're talking, let's talk about the good stuff now, because I got all that out of my system. But
the Browns honestly, win the Super Bowl, you're going to grow a mullet.
I'm thrilled to be 3-1. It's a great thing. But this is one of the reasons why organizationally we haven't been 3-1 since 2001. That's 19 years if you're doing your math. It's because you have to win games in situations like this. And I'll tell you this, when they came out, I mean, in the beginning of the game, the misdirection plays, including the first bomb that Landry threw on the end around, they were so over pursuing the Browns blocking on the right side of the line that it just enabled, and the entire game, they would go to the right run and run over him, run through him. And then every time they ran play action, everybody would go that way. And Baker was naked booting to the right. And it's amazing that when the game was on the line at the end at 41-38, the head coach had the intelligence to call a reverse. And thank God Aldon Smith is slower than Odell Beckham and didn't quite have the right angle. But you could see that once he got by Aldon Smith, it was no different than earlier in the game. They were just running in the direction of the blocking flow, and they were completely naked on the back side.
On that play, Harrison Bryant took out 2 defensive players with one single block.
And you notice how they blocked back too,
game.
Brian. You notice how they blocked back too, Brian. They were kind of closing off the angles for the pursuit from those defensive players as well. It was a remarkable play. OBJ just blowing through those people as well. He just slid through people, and oh my gosh.
We haven't seen him that fast since he wore a Giants uniform.
Well, yeah, he's got 4.2 speed when he really wants to.
Yeah, I guess. But I tell you, if you would have told me at the beginning of the day we'd scored 49 points and be sweating it out to the last minute.
But that's what I said on the Friday show, because Mark asked me who's got the 37. Whoever's got the ball last.
Yeah, you nailed that, Brian.
Well, and you're only as good as the last thing you did, and so what people will remember in this game really was, that magnificent end around touchdown by Odell Beckham and the big game that Beckham had, and Denzel Ward intercepting the pass that locked up in the victory. But
and the heady play by Steven Carlson to cover up the ball and roll into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean,
for a 2-point conversion.
This was a real crazy game. Any way you look at it. I mean, does anybody have any idea how number 29 got in the air over?
He was offsides.
Oh, so that was declared in this.
That was
the penalty was on him.
Yeah,
okay,
he had jumped offsides, then blocked the ball, but instead of the ball going backwards towards the kicker, it actually went forwards past the line of scrimmage, and the dumbass Cowboys touched the ball, making it live. So then Steven Carlson could then scoop it up and roll into the end zone for the 2-pointer.
Well, they did say one more thing, that while it was live, they couldn't advance it, so they had to recover it.
Ball on it in the end zone, or else it would have been like what
Dave
was it?
Casper,
the holy roller, the holy roller. Right. And that's true. Dallas has found all kinds of ways this year, but all of them giving up an inordinate number of points. They've given up more than 35 points every game and 49 today. Congratulations. The coordinator there is not likely to have a job for long. Nobody's arguing the fact that our offense really looks good. But what bothers me,
300 yards rushing.
That's all great, but
giving up 502 yards
The
passing.
third and fourth string running backs are getting.
I'm going to put you full screen, Bronk. Say what you're going to say.
The fourth quarter was when we needed Nick Chubb. If we had Nick Chubb in the fourth quarter, he would have broken those tackles that Dearness Johnson didn't break, and we would have gotten some fucking first downs.
Yeah.
So
but not only that.
Okay.
If you believe in your offense, all right, then when you see the other team coming to life, you snuff it out in the crib. In other words, if you have an effective running game, you run a play action pass and you throw some balls to your tight ends. You don't just try to run the clock down like a high school game. If you really believe in your offensive line, you really believe in Baker Mayfield, the fact is you don't have to 3 and out, and just by handing the ball off. And why would you throw a long sideline pattern where either Baker drops the ball in perfectly or it's a clock stopper? I mean, get the fucking first down. If you believe in your offense, then run your goddamn offense and get the first down.
Yeah,
it's
I was
just
waiting for the fumble or strip sack to happen, like I was saying, for this program that was going to cost us the game. That's what I was waiting for. I go, oh no, I'm sorry I said that.
Yeah, well, and Dallas.
The two tight ends ended up with 9 catches on 11 targets. So
yeah, they had a great game. They were blocking too. They blocked on everything.
Yeah, I mean, Doggy Bones, the Cowboys have passed on everyone they've played, and we knew going into the game that they were going to use hurry-up offense and play fast. And the reason that we said on Friday that they were playing so much hurry-up football was because they were behind in every game they ever played. Yeah, and so, I mean, this followed to script. Why weren't we prepared? And, at what point, when you see that your defense is exhausted, your offense has to step up. And that means the play caller has to step up and give the opportunity for that offense to get first downs. And you don't want Baker scrambling around back there. You go to sure reads. You go to plays that are your pet plays in the book that are the highest percentage passes and throws that you can make. And I did not see that today, and that kind of bothers me as well. And yes, Beckham had a big, big game. And that's great. And of course, everyone's going to be talking about the end around. And again,
Landry making big plays too.
Landry.
Landry was blocking down the field,
downfield, making big catches. that it was the whole offense as a group, but it's
Beckham had 73 yards rushing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get it any way you can get it. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Dearness Johnson was getting chunks of rushing in the third quarter. We stopped. Mm-hmm. Our energy stopped. It's like we didn't want anyone to get injured, so we kind of slowed down in the fourth quarter. And against a team that averages 19.3 seconds between plays, you can't, you really can't do that. And that's what happens. It is a coming out party, General Dog, for our offense. And, I think that we're very structured, and, I just would like to see that structure in a situation when you're seeing something going down the crapper. And, when you play to the clock and not to your opponent, it's a mistake. And I hope it's a mistake that Kevin Stefanski doesn't make again, because against a really good football team, which Dallas obviously is not, okay? You're not going to get away with that.
No defense. And I thought that Washington actually has a better defense than the Cowboys, which kind of proved out.
I think that part of it is, again, if I were a Dallas fan, and I would say, what in the hell was the outside coverage on Odell Beckham on the one touchdown that he's just trotted the first 3 steps and broke into a slant, and the guy looked mesmerized and stood there and watched him. I saw some really bad defensive back play on both teams that left me mesmerized. Like, what are you doing? How are you letting people get behind you like this and taking bad angles to balls, dropping passes that should have been intercepted? And in every instance, it comes down to Sendejo, his lack of size, his lack of speed, and he shouldn't be on the field. And I don't know if he's a favorite of Joe Woods. I get that. Or he's a favorite of Kevin Stefanski because of where he came from. I get that. But he's not good enough to be playing in the NFL. I'm sorry. He's not a good enough player. And we have to be able to find somebody who can run better than that, because there's way too much separation. Now the stats, look at that.
Combined team over 1,000 yards between both teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the indoor football league,
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I go, who put the Gladiators and the Renegades on the field? Because they were just pretty much scoring at will on both sides.
Yeah, and, you were just hoping that you were just hoping that the Browns would step in front and actually catch the ball one time, Wow. That's what I was hoping for.
Well,
because
it happened when it mattered most with Denzel Ward.
Oh, man.
And Jacob's right with me. Yeah, Taki had one. Sendejo had one.
Harrison had one.
Harrison had a pick 6.
Well, and Sendejo on that last one where he basically went through his hands. He basically knocked it away from Harrison on that play. I mean,
that was Mitchell.
Oh, yeah. Mitchell was in the back. Yeah. But I mean, they basically knocked it away from Mitchell on that play. He had the ball on the first touchdown that Dallas had on the open play where nobody covered the guy at all. I mean, he looked like a just totally lost there. And on the next one, when they scored again, he went for the ball instead of the man when you already had Ward on the ball. If he would have hit him, it probably would have dislodged it, or at least stopped them right there at the play. Instead, he went for the big play, and he walked in. So
yeah, that's the one where Moose was gushing about how Dak threw it through a narrow window. Well, the window was actually bigger than what they thought it was because Sendejo misplayed that one.
No, but boy,
in real time, it looked like he threw it through 2 guys, though.
Yeah, it did.
It did, but
Hi, Neil.
he didn't.
I recognize the people who comment on the programs. Glad you're with us, Neil. It's nice to see familiar names and faces, and even if it's just names and not faces. But it's I would say that with this offensive line, even Dearness Johnson was getting good amounts of yardage. And is there yet any word about Chubb? I mean, they usually give them some kind of radiology, don't they?
He's got a knee injury. Beyond that, I didn't see or hear anything.
Yeah, the only thing they said was they were going to evaluate after the fact. So it was just the knee. He wasn't going to play the rest of the game. And so who knows? I mean, it could be horrible. It could be,
What's this Bubby Brister bullshit?
What?
I don't know. They keep talking about Baker Mayfield is like Bubby Brister or some
Who's
asshole
saying
thing.
that?
D-Bag and I forget who was saying.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not
He's
sure
not
that's
that
actually.
bad.
I don't think that's actually D-bag because he's saying that Lamar has COVID and now he's comparing Baker Mayfield to Bubby Brister. I don't think that's him. I think somebody else is using his sign-on. Either that or he's on some kind of very strange medication like the president of the United States.
I will say there was one great stat that they brought up actually during the telecast, and they were talking about how Troy Aikman never really had great stats. And as a fantasy football player back in the day when that was my prime of playing fantasy football, Aikman never was a great fantasy quarterback. He never really got the scores. He never really had the yards. He just won games. And it was just, and that's what this offense is designed to do. The quarterback doesn't have to shine. They just have to not fuck it up.
That's what it amounts to. And Troy Aikman, I mean, that was one of the things. And the same thing was true with Ben Roethlisberger in a lot of his prime years when they had Jerome Bettis. I mean, when they could run the ball pretty much at will and control the game that way with the defense they had, Roethlisberger averaged throwing approximately 27 passes per game. That was it. I mean, it wasn't that he was putting up these milestone yardage games, like throwing for 502 yards. I mean, he could beat you in many different ways, but really the way the Steelers wanted to win during their real run of Super Bowls was to run right at you and say, this is who we are. And, this, you have to stop us. And you're right, Neil, we have three really, I mean, you can't question the offensive line at this point. I did see Jedrick Wills let a guy get off the left side of the line on a blown assignment that got us tackled in the backfield on one play. But again, I'm not seeing for a young rookie that this guy's getting his ass whipped. And then, of course, you've got, Wyatt Teller is playing tremendous football. And this is a surprise to everybody. And it must be.
Antonio and Treader both have been playing well. I mean, and Hubbard came in for one play, and you got it's just as a group they're just really meshing well. And I think that's one of those things that offensive lines, it grows on them. Once their running backs are hitting those holes and getting yards, they just get more and more confident in their ability. So they're gonna be pretty tough to down the road here if they can continue to stay healthy. But that's the thing about this team. There's just no depth anywhere, especially on the defense. Good gosh.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we got depth at running back though.
Yeah, thank God.
Brown's gratification, the media. And, here's the deal. I mean, in this instance, what we do is a different form of media. You got to be, try to be honest about your team and say, hey, this is what we did great. We dominated the line of scrimmage. We took the game to them. We ran the football, and when we had a good game plan, we were opportunistic and took the ball away from them. We did everything we were supposed to do right in the first half. And even in the third quarter, everything was fine. But the fourth quarter, it's winning time. And you just don't want to see your players get tight. And I think that's, the offense was tight when it came in because the defense was just quite literally giving up just yardage. Like, to use a Trumpism, like nobody's ever seen. We were just giving up chunks of yards, and the offense.
They were giving up chunk yards bigly. It was very embarrassing. Quite embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
Jeff and Bama, how you doing? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey,
how many holding penalties did you guys end up counting? I was up to 11.
Yeah, it was pretty substantial. And face masks that didn't get called, too.
oh yeah, that one that they showed.
There were
on
two calls against the
run.
Cowboys that were inordinately bad. That one where they called the helmet-to-helmet contact on a play that it looked to me like the Dallas guy actually intercepted the pass. And that was just a huge bad call. The other one, what was the other one that was really? Oh, it was a touchdown for sure. He crossed the goal line.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They made him run 2 more snaps before they got it in. And I don't know what they were watching. But you're right, Doggy Bones. The original Moohead Radio theme was actually the theme song for the Lawrence Welk Band. Yeah. So if you're wondering.
We just need some bubbles in the background here.
Oh my God! Look who is joining us.
Oh my good
You
lord!
ain't laughing at COVID now, are you, little guy?
Wow.
What's up, Mark?
What's up, Dave?
Hey, Bronk.
Hey, spin Dave.
Yeah, well, the Browns just getting it done. And then there's old friends showing up. Spinner Dave was my co-host for years on Moohead Radio, old school Moohead Radio.
It's even more old school now. It's like old guys with glasses here today.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you know something, Dave? For the first time in
Strangely,
14
the two
months.
conservatives don't have to
Hold
wear
on a
glasses.
second. Hold on. There we go. All right. I had to mute one of them. It was driving me crazy.
Now, you see, this is proof that this is not D-bag. You see, I'm sorry, whoever is using your the answer is no. They're all the same color, though. I know. It's like, this is like, well, man, it's like Stephen Wright. I've got a bunch of different shirts, but they're all kind of navy blue. They all look the same. People think it's the same shirt. Yeah, okay, you'll figure it out.
Or like in The Fly when Jeff Goldblum has the same suit, like 700 of them.
Yeah, and the late Leroy, my program director from Flint, Michigan, who unfortunately years ago passed away from a brain hemorrhage. Yeah, he used to flash pictures at the end of the show. That would just get us yanked off here. Well, maybe more ways than one.
Yanked off one way or the other.
Yeah. We don't do that anymore. Wyatt Teller is policing like Wyatt Earp.
She's been doing really good, except for that one offsides every game.
Yeah, but I mean, my God, he's not a hold waiting to happen like last year. Nobody had an idea what offense we were running last year. We have a real good idea what offense we're running this year. So, and again, this is really the underrated guy. And it's really a shame. A guy like Callahan gets a chance at being a head coach, and that's not what he does best. He is a offensive line coach, and you can see that the team, between the scheme and technique, we're seeing things from the same players, and they're all raising their level. Even a rookie like Jedrick Wills is elevated by the instruction, the teaching that he's getting from Bill Callahan. A very smart move by Kevin Stefanski and the organization to get a qualified offensive line coach when you know that you have to run the football.
And he's okay with Wills working with Joe Thomas, too. So
yeah.
He's not saying, well, you're only going to learn my techniques. Don't listen to Joe Thomas. It's like, well, you got a Hall of Famer that's going to come in and teach the new kid how to play left tackle. Go for it.
And Neil, Jedrick Wills, the less you hear his name, you're going to see things and say, okay, he got beat. But, he's playing with elite level athletes And it's a different story than when you're coming out of the SEC and you're just stomping on people. It's a different game. And the thing I like about Jedrick Wills is that he's coachable. He's keeping his mouth shut and his head down. He's playing football, and he's, holding his own on the left side of the line. And I've seen him get beat a couple times this year, but he's not like what we were seeing a couple of years ago, where guys were just letting like Greg Robinson and people like that. And believe me, Jedrick Wills can bowl people over in the running game. He is a load. Where the question is with him is in his pass offense. And you can see that if he let somebody in the back door, the linebackers are a lot faster than he is, of course. So, but other than that, yeah, I'm thrilled with the offensive line. Nobody can say anything bad about that. Yeah. So now we have the truth. You get this? So who are you? Who are wait. Who are you? Who? So who the fuck are you? Okay, all right, enough of that.
I'm actually D-Bag's younger brother, John. Okay.
Okay. All right. Grow up.
Or sign in under your own goddamn name.
This is a question that I don't know the answer to. Do you guys remember Papa Burl? Do you remember Papa Burl?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fryingpansports.com. I don't know what's happened to Papa Burl. Lost track completely. And would love to have him on the program. Very nice man. Very nice man. I know his wife passed away. I don't know anything more about him. I wish I could tell you, but he was a good guy. And, and here's another guy, I don't think we'd see any drop off in performance if you had Keenum in over. It's like, yeah, except that you would totally bring down the entire football team. It's one thing if Baker Mayfield went down with an injury, dude, but when you're 3-1, you're not going to turn the reins over to Case Keenum. So it's like, whatever acid trip you're on, it's a really bad one. Get off it, What we would hope for is that if he had to come into a game, there would be a less of a drop off than other teams when they're forced to go to their second string quarterbacks because we have such a good running game.
This really isn't Baker slow start. This is Stefanski football. That's what he does. Look at the stats for Cousins before he went there. 4,800, 5,000 yards, and then he gets 32 to 3,600 in Minnesota. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with this either, because that first number in front of the 3 and 1, let's keep that number rising. And this is good all day, and this is controlling the ball. One of the few things I agreed with Moose on, which was just brutal having a lifetime Cowboy guy on the fucking game. I mean, just kill me now. But anyway, but having him on there, and he was talking about it, he says this offense is built to drive down the field, control the game, keep the offense off the field, and limit the number of opportunities for the other offense. The problem is you've got an incredible offense on the other side today, and it showed by them, putting all those points on. But our defense didn't help them any either. I mean, we certainly.
Well, the other thing that I can say is even Dearness Johnson was fighting for extra yards. I mean, the truth is when you have guys in front of you working their ass off to create holes, everybody works harder. The running backs see opportunities and they go after those opportunities. A hungry guy like Dearness Johnson, and they told the story how he was on a fishing boat, working to get an opportunity to be the number 3/4 back, in the NFL. When those holes are cleared and you see those hosses up front really working their ass off, which we haven't seen in Cleveland in a while, guys really consistently just really knuckling down, I think all of the running backs showed, even Dontrell Hilliard showed extra yardage after contact in this game, not to mention Kareem Hunt and, of course, Nick Chubb.
He was very close to scoring a touchdown on
Yeah.
the drive that was Hunt's, I think, second touchdown. He ran 12 yards down to the 2. So
Yeah, it was definitely running back. Could you imagine if it was just? It's probably better this way rather than just having one person out there the whole time, just because they continue to to move the ball. But old Stefanski, yeah. Boy,
Yeah, that was getting bad.
Oh God.
What's really funny to me is there's a Stefanik that's in the CBD chat. So
Yeah, I mean, again, a lack of preparation, not only for athletes on the field but off the field. I don't try to go out in the field and pretend to be a football player. I'm really insulted when football players go into a broadcast booth and pretend to be broadcasters, because you got to do your homework.
I thought I was listening for a minute to old Harry Carey. You remember how he used to mispronounce all the names?
Oh no! To me, Harry Carey always sounded like he had something lodged in his throat after the stroke that he had.
One time I heard him say Andre Dawsonovich. I was like, what?
Well, he had a stroke, for God's sake. Give him a break. Tubby Dog. I actually did. I exchanged words with Tubby Dog and asked him to come back to the program. And he said he would if he had an opportunity. So some of these guys, I do, stay up, keep up with. And, Sam unfortunately passed away. And Sam's real name was Vince Martini. He was from Youngstown. Oh, actually, he was from the Youngstown area. All right. He was actually from a small town right next to Youngstown. And a wonderful man. And no, he wasn't as stupid as he came off on the air. That was an act. And Sam and I would speak several times a week. And when I was at an airport, stuck in Washington airport, I guess what was at one time Dulles Airport, which changed to Ronald Reagan Airport, if I'm correct, in Washington D.C.
No, that's still
National turned to Reagan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There. Yeah.
All right. So I was stuck because of weather, and I was calling Vince to try to ask him, what do you see with the weather? What do you see with the weather? And I couldn't get a hold of him. And it turned out that weekend he had passed away of an aneurysm.
And I remember you called me right after that and told me about that. That was heartbreaking.
It was absolutely heartbreaking. One of my favorite people from the program. Seen too many of them. I've seen too many of them go like this, and it's
in honor of him, in honor of Sam. I'm never coming on this show again. Remember, he'd say that all the time.
Oh yeah. He was his act, but I'll tell you, he gave me interviews with some great people. I had Ray Mancini on the air because of him. I had Roger Staubach on the air because of him. He knew people. And he was a great assistance to the show and really unheralded. And he wanted it that way. And what I didn't know, and I should say this now, and I don't even know if you knew this, Dave, is that Vince, whenever it was time for the show, I spoke to his sister after he passed away. And she said, everybody knew, man, not on Friday.
Right.
No way that he had to be back at a certain time. And what I didn't know is that he had a leg amputated. The man never told me through our conversations that he had told me that he had health problems, that he had a leg amputated, and he still participated in the program. One of the toughest guys I've ever known, and a big law enforcement background for Vince. And he has beautiful daughters, wonderful son, and Gina and Sophia, those are his daughters. I still, still exchange notes with them. And his sister, who I spoke with, unfortunately, she passed away too, only a couple of years ago.
Man.
It's a whole big wide world out there. And Moohead Radio is more than just screwing around and talking about Cleveland sports. And every so often I get serious about this because it is a personal family thing. And people, have the ability, just like Tony and like Dave and like Jim and like Bronk.
There he is.
And Brian is a relatively newer member of the family. And you're always welcome. These people are always welcome back on the air because it's important. I saw your Vikings one, Tony. Congratulations.
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Hey, you're trying to tank now, and you win a game.
Yeah, I don't think we'll beat the Jets, but
Oh, come on.
hey,
Darnold really?
Jets. Everybody
Darnold's
can
out,
beat
so
the
you got a
Jets.
good shot.
I think. Hi, Reggie. How you doing? 25 to 30 times a game, it's all in the scheme. And we started out a little bit more pass heavy in the first half of the game. But again, Baker's been completing about 60% of his passes. It really, for the type of offense that we have, I'd like to see him closer to 65% completion. I might be nitpicking, but
he did have some good throwaways instead of trying to force the ball and creating turnovers.
Well, that's what I saw today. That was different.
That's the Brad Johnson kind of thing, where he'll throw the ball away rather than, make a bad play.
You leave plays on the field, and they say that's a bad thing, but sometimes you leave bad plays on the field when you don't got nothing in front of you. And I think Baker today showed maturity. That's the way I would describe his performance, is that he doesn't want to be the guy who's the star necessarily. He just, at this point, I think he sees a system that is working, that he's got a running game that's working. He has a functional head coach, which is the first time he's seen that in Cleveland. And I think he wants to glom onto that system. And I think that is what gives quarterbacks longer careers, is if they
also
play
the next weakest pass defense that they're going to play upcoming is going to be the Jets.
Yeah, well.
I mean, so who do we have next week?
Colts, man.
Colts.
I'm worried
And the
about
Colts have
that
been really good this year.
I'm worried about that game. They got much better lines than the Cowboys do. So,
and a much better backfield.
yeah. So if Chubb's hurt, man, it's going to be a tough game.
Oh, I remember Toby. I remember your name. Yeah, you need to get on the air more. Absolutely. This is what we do, man.
Hey, Moo, you know who the Browns reminded me of today?
Oh.
Jack Palance.
It's another reference. It's another.
What's his favorite pizza?
Oh,
Make it stop.
Yeah. That's just it, Bradley. We haven't seen nearly enough tough gut check play from the Cleveland Browns, and this is the image of Cleveland. Blue collar town. We're a blue collar town, man. I mean, look, this is blue collars against. And D-Bag's brother hates this fucking shirt.
I'm green collar.
Yeah, and make it stop. Make it stop. My limited time on DSN.
Digital Sports Network, Cleveland. I remember them days.
Gary, the numbers guy, was.
Yeah, a numerologist on a sports talk network. It's like, what's this kook on?
What was that one jackass's name? Ken Silverstein.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he and I didn't get along. Not at all. He was the one who got me dropped off of the damn thing because I made fun of him on the air. But hey, me? Make fun of somebody? Not me.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, we got to do the Peter Alice play of the game. What's it going to be? There's a lot to choose from.
There really is a lot.
It's got to be the pass, right? The first touchdown of the game. That's got to be the play.
No, Peter Alice is he has to call the play for the Cowboys because they're the team of misery. That's what I
mean. You're calling it for the Cowboys side of things.
It's like, okay, we'll do it from the Cowboys side
because the Cowboys really didn't have any bad plays.
Yeah, that CD Lamb pass early in the first quarter.
All right, here we go. I have to think of what he would say. Here we go. Peter Alice. Oh, after the first week of the season, the Browns punter trying to take off with a snap down the field. Trick plays don't work for the Browns except against this Cowboys defense. Oh, watching Jarvis Landry wind up like James Karinchak and throw the ball down the field. And there's Odell Beckham. How does he get behind his defender? Oh, I knew it was going to be a long day after that. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Peter Alice going spelunking. Here we go. Oh, where in the hell am I?
Yeah, where's Hiram? Where's Hiram these days?
Well, when the team wins, he's nowhere to be found.
It's just kind of south.
He's in Hiram. Yeah, he's
kind of south and east of Cleveland. Yeah.
Hiram and Mike and
Peter Alice would have made a great Gandalf.
Hi, Reggie. Good. All in my world is somehow coming back to some degree of normalcy. I hope you're doing well, too. It's been a wild ride, and 2020 has been the weirdest fucking year. This was the weirdest fucking game I've seen for a number of reasons. One, it just kept ending and starting again, and then ending and starting again. And then, right when you thought we were going to totally screw up, we make a big plan, we win the game. Today was a very 2020-esque kind of game.
We need John Madden doing the 2-point conversion, the blocked extra point. You know?
John Madden?
John Madden. Boom!
It would be something like this.
Guy goes here, that fat guy goes there, they go boom.
Well, number 29 comes over here, but he started about 5 seconds early, and he's actually flying through the air like Superman, like he's been propelled out of a cannon, and boom! Right there, he blocks the kick, but unfortunately, they touch it for no good reason. The Dallas Cowboys touch the ball, and the Browns jump on top of it in the end zone.
Boom! I remember being on the sideline when Dave Castor scored the touchdown.
Tough acting to acting.
God, what a horrible. I mean, what do you do if you're the Cowboys, if you're Jerry Jones, and you're looking at Mike McCarthy and going,
drink heavily.
That can't last.
Guzzle tequila like by the 55-gallon oil drum.
Yeah, I mean,
getting arrested in some Thailand.
It's just a pity that we can't watch Michael Irvin shit himself on NFL Network.
Why not?
Well, you know what I want to see is Stephen A. Smith.
Oh God!
Oh, he is not going to be a happy.
How did Baker Mayfield win this game?
Oh, all right. Arbus. Yes, I remember Arbus too.
Arbus.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. Technology has changed, and so your actual names will appear in a lot of cases now because you're coming directly from through YouTube, through your Google sign in and all that. Through the years, we've used so many different broadcast systems that everybody had different names. And it's really cool when the guys come up and say, "Oh, I'm so and so."
You think Skip Bayless is going to throw his Cowboy shirt back in the trash again?
Skip Bayless is going to be fun for an entire week on this one. I'm telling you, they're going to have fun with him all week long. I'll tell you, Kellerman's going to be, he's not even there anymore. He's on the other one now, right? Or whatever. He's with that. They're just going to be brutalizing him all week long. Oh my gosh, and they'll be just like telling him about how bad everything is, and But once again, they put up 500 yards of offense, 600 yards of offense with rushing. I mean, that certainly they know what the problem is, but to let the Browns score that many points is downright embarrassing.
He was the biggest LeBron James hater, wasn't he?
Probably still is.
Yeah. He was number 2 on my list to get COVID.
Looks like
you're
LeBron's getting ready to get another ring.
You got
We have a winner.
Landry throws such a beautiful pass. Oh my God. I'm watching some of the highlights.
Old lefty.
So
he winds up, and it doesn't look like it could possibly go where it's going. But he throws them well. It's really surprising.
I still remember that pass he threw to Perryman.
Oh yeah,
down the sideline.
And Perryman actually caught it. That was the strange part of that.
Yeah.
All these people were supposed to be good.
It was
Perryman's injured, isn't he? Isn't Perryman injured already?
I don't know.
I thought he got hurt last week, but I thought he was playing in that game.
I think he's on the Giants.
You never hear about the things like the guys like, we lost Perriman, but nobody ever follows up on how he did. It's a lot like Mike Clevenger. I mean, it's like San Diego finally makes the goddamn playoffs, and it's like all of a sudden now they're questioning not only him for the rest of the year and all that, but
he's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah,
they're talking about
he's on the other shitty New York team. He's on the Jets. So it's hard to keep track of what shitty New York teams out there. So,
wow.
But one thing that they brought up on this, they said, last week they said it was the first time the Browns had scored 30 back to back since whatever the heck it was. So this is the first time they scored 30 back to back since 1968. It's going to be tough to break that because that year they had 7 games in a row where they scored 30 points or more, including like several of them in the 40s. So, hey, nice precedent.
Well, we got 3 down. 4
there you go.
Wasn't that Frank Ryan's last season?
No, that was Bill Nelson.
Very few
Bill Nelson was the quarterback.
Paul Warfield.
Yeah, Bill Nelson back in 1969. Is that right?
Yeah.
This was 68. Let me see what the let's see some stats on that. We're going back quite a bit here. So
that's in the way back time machine. Yeah. While you're looking it up,
it's a lot of Leroy Kelly and Bill Nelson. Yes. Paul Warfield. Yeah. So and that game.
Very few people realize that I actually know and got along very well with Bruce Drennan, and it was funny because I would call him and on his All Bets Are Off show, and it was really funny. But I wouldn't just go by my name, Mark, and it's like, "Hiya, Mark. It's really great to hear from you." I mean, and so it was done, When I finally went on the air with him, he didn't know that I did an impersonation of him, and I got done saying what we were talking about, and I said, "I love you, Bruce." And he started laughing. He thought that was the most hysterical thing he ever heard in his life. So for those people who, thought that, I was ridiculing Bruce Drennan has had a career in Cleveland, and I know he wanted his career to move into a larger market, but sometimes, you settle where you got a good gig. And actually, Bruce is like so many on-the-air guys that I've dealt with in radio. I like all these guys because they're fun. And it was, the same thing was true with, oh my God, why am I blanking? Michael Regai. Michael Regai was on the show. I insisted he come on the show because, I really liked him as an announcer, and I really thought that he got the screws, basically, and that, and it's nothing against Fred McLeod, the late Fred McLeod. Obviously, we don't speak badly of that. But Michael Regai was a more interesting play-by-play broadcaster than Fred McLeod, but harder to work with, a little more temperamental. And Fred was, a guy that everybody loved, and plus he was, tight with Dan Gilbert. But I love you, Cleveland.
I thought you were going to go Myron Cope. Oh, the Steelers are having a oh my God.
I've had my throat removed. I smoked too many cigarettes and I've got throat cancer. If you're going to do Myron Cope, but again, how long can you do Myron Cope for? I mean,
not very long, because it's kind of like doing AC/DC songs and trying to cover them.
it's true.
There's a limited. Yeah, I don't know how those guys managed to do that for very long. Because
it was so funny. I remember coming back from the University of Massachusetts, and I was I was going out to UMass, and I was going through Pennsylvania on the interstate, going out back to school. And the Browns were playing the Steelers. I was listening to it on the radio, so I was listening as far as I could to the Ohio broadcast. But when I got to Pennsylvania, I had to switch over to, and listening to Myron Cope complain and whine was enough to make you want to commit suicide. Honest to God, it was the most horrible thing. But you had to be from Pittsburgh. It's like from Ante Brothers. If you want to shove French fries into your sandwich, you got to be from Pittsburgh to get into it, You're not going to understand what's so damn good about Myron Cope if you're not from Pittsburgh. So it's an acquired taste.
1968 team now. I'm just looking at the standings. Name the other 3 teams that were in our division. That's a good trivia question.
The other 3 teams in that year, probably the Giants.
No,
because they were still in the end. They were
still in the NFL,
right?
Yeah.
So
Century Division.
The Century Division. So the Steelers would have made sense.
Yep.
Think of who else? Detroit?
No,
they were in the other division there.
The New Orleans Saints. They were only just like an expansion team like the year before.
Oh my God!
And the wonderful St. Louis Cardinals, who the Browns beat out for the division. The Cardinals were 9-4-1. Browns were 10-4. And then we went on to beat the Dallas Cowboys in the conference playoff, and then we got pounded by the Baltimore Colts, 34-0 in the NFL championship game, and that was one of our chances at the Super Bowl that went horribly wrong. But there you go.
You see, I don't remember this, Doggy Bones. I used a 6 degrees of separation approach to the picks. That sounds like something stupid that I would do if I had nothing better to say.
We had Howard Cosell do a few picks too.
God! I mean, bringing him back from the dead, just horrific. But hey, everybody, a win's a win's a win. We'll go over real quick the general box score. Dearness Johnson, 95 yards. Odell Beckham, 73. Kareem Hunt, 71. And good use of Kareem Hunt, not using him too much. Let him heal more. Nick Chubb out after 43 yards. Dontrell Hilliard picked up 19 yards. And Odell didn't catch a pass in the second half of the game. Jarvis caught 1 pass. Harrison Bryant caught 4 passes altogether. Austin Hooper, 5 passes. So 9 going to the tight ends, which is what you'd expect in this offense. Amari Cooper hurt us again with he is their Jarvis Landry guy. Again, 11.2 yards per reception, but 12 receptions. That's a lot of completions when the field was wide open in the middle. And what was really pissing me off is that we were letting them scamper out of bounds. That's how much separation there was between our defensive secondary and their wide receivers. That should never be the case.
Their TEs were a killer too.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz and
we never had anybody covering them. We just let them run free like the Buffalo.
And I think Noah Brown was the other one.
Yeah, so I think we see why Donovan Peoples-Jones is not ready for prime time. Thank God he did not touch that ball. Thank God.
It's bad enough he's from Michigan. Just leave him alone.
I mean, that was a live football. I'm like, I'm just waiting for him to. That was the wheels falling off moment.
That was the moment I was thinking was going to happen.
That
horrible moment that we'd remember.
He'll learn.
That was the moment where I thought
he did have one
TV, because I break this one.
He did have one nice punt return for 13 yards.
13 yards. Yeah.
So
I mean,
all right, leave him alone.
I'm okay.
Doesn't look very fast to me though. He doesn't look like a guy who's going to break anything wide open.
He's got more of a glide to his running style.
You know what else he did, Brian? He caught the ball on the
Yeah, without falling on his ass.
the frickin' ball.
I
Yeah,
will
we were
tell
all-
you the worst play call. The worst play call in the game. I'm going to end up the show with the worst play call of the game. You know, you got 3 minutes and 28 seconds.
Third down
right?
run.
No, it was the second onside kick. I mean, the one that fooled Peoples Jones and Jones's people too, as far as that goes, because all of his relatives were confused as well. What was that? You know, I mean, what was he supposed? Was he trying to kick the ball right at somebody? Instead, he just made it an easy play for Dontrell Hilliard to get the ball back to the midfield, which preceded the big play.
They were hoping for another Atlanta play.
Yeah.
Well, he kicked it so hard, there was no way.
Right.
I don't understand what they were trying to do. They didn't.
I think he was trying to hit it off of him, like you said, hit off of a guy,
Karam or something. I have no idea. You know, so there's hey, JASQ. Now there's a guy from the past too. How you doing, buddy?
It is, man. You should give Cody Parkey a game ball for not missing any kicks.
Yeah,
But
he
the
was
official
money.
did not miss any kicks.
He's gotten better on his second time around.
Yeah, he was money all the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of those things. Although, like I said, you could count the block against them, but it really can't because they were offside. So, but
How's your family, JA? How's your family? You know, how's your whole family? I just have all kinds of great memories from this program. It's why I still do it after God knows what it's been 16 years. That's why.
Been a
Because
bit.
I feel like I've met so many people that I haven't met. You know, it's a lot of fun, and it's easier now than it's ever been with StreamYard and the interface with YouTube. Just as easy can be. All right, everybody, that's it. Browns win. Hey, a win is win is win. 3-1, and you never know. So we're gonna go. Are we playing in Indianapolis or in Cleveland?
Let me.
It is.
yes, one of those.
I think we're in Cleveland.
It's a 4:25 game.
No, they're at home.
In Indianapolis.
Hmm?
No, wait a minute. No,
We're in Cleveland, I believe.
No,
Yeah,
we're in Cleveland. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a home.
Right, but it's
a home game.
4:25 game. Right?
4:25 game.
All right. Well, we'll be back again on Moohead Radio tomorrow, of course, with more stuff about today's football game. And congratulations to Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns, 3-1. It's a hell of a start for a new system. I would never have thought we were going to be 3-1 after 4 games. It's a great way to start off a season for a change. We'll be back again on Moohead Radio tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, which is just tomorrow, folks. Hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.
All right.